Hey guys, welcome back to Ashmore Breed'em. And today on the homestead, we're going to be up potting our tomato plants. What we've done is we started our three varieties of tomatoes that we usually grow here. We have mortgage lifters, Cherokee carbons, and beefsteaks. These are all heirloom varieties, and these are all organically grown here on our homestead. And this is a pretty simple process. We started these some weeks back. And you can see they're about 6 inches tall now in these little 6 cell plug trays. Now it is time to get these guys out of here and into 4 inch pots so they continue to grow. It's not quite time to leave these guys out, and it's not quite time to get these guys planted. So for us, we have to up pot. And this is a pretty simple process. All we do is we just loosen up the soil around each one of these plants, just like that. Take your time, and then you lift it out. Now, you can see how the roots have started coming out the bottom and they're just poking through the sides. This is the ideal time to get these guys planted. So, up potted. I have these pots with just a little bit of soil at the very bottom, and I'm going to bury these guys. I got a little too much in that one. I'm going to bury these guys as deep as I can because all the little hairs on the stem will form roots. And the more roots you have, the more nutrients you can uptake, and the healthier your plant's going to be. So we're going to get this guy up potted real quick. And you could pinch off these cotyledon leaves. I'm probably going to let these guys go another week or so before I do that. But folks, it really is that simple to up pot your tomatoes. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more here, and then I'll put you on hyperspeed and we'll get all these done. We only grow heirloom and organic varieties here on the homestead. We've been seed saving for years, and actually a lot of the seeds that we plant here I have received as gifts from my mother and grandmother and parents and brothers and family friends that they've saved for years. I'm not saying that the hybrid tomato doesn't taste good or doesn't taste better. Just for our time and effort, I'd much prefer. See, now this little guy right here, we're going to go ahead and up pot him too. He will go ahead and produce a tomato. All right. Okay. You see all the little hairs that grow up and down the stem here? Each one of those will form a root when it touches the soil. So you want to bury these as deep as you can, preferably up to that cotyledon leaf if you can. But it's not necessary. We just like burying them deeper because it gives us more roots. And then, like I said, more roots is more nutrient uptake. More nutrient uptake usually yields larger tomatoes. I grow these varieties for their size. We like to put up a lot of tomatoes and tomato products here on the homestead. And occasionally we'll have one slice for a burger or whatever, but I'd rather store our tomatoes for later dates. So here in just a few moments, I've been talking. We've got 3 of these guys up potted already. This is a simple process. You just want to treat these guys pretty carefully. This is our homemade potting mix. It looks like this one didn't get sifted, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about that. This is our own homemade potting mix and compost from stuff that we utilize and make here on the farm. We got wood chips and other organic matter in here. We have all of our garden scraps go through the chipper mulcher at the end of the year, and it gets blown right into the compost pile. And we keep that moist and warm, and it breaks down to this beautiful black gold. And that's what we like. Now, it's important to make sure you label these, especially when you have this many plants to go through, because the last thing you want is to get these mixed up. And each one of these pots will have its own label, because inevitably The kids will knock them over or pick them up and look at them or do something, and we'll end up with a bunch of mixed up tomatoes, and we don't want that. So we got our broccoli and cabbage planted the other day. I will be planting our lettuce out in the big garden probably today because I got to go to work tomorrow. So, all right, I'm going to show you something else. Sometimes, I'll focus. Sometimes we get two plants together like this. These are real simple to deal with. Just gently separate them. And just like with knot in your daughter's hair, just gently tease it apart. And you have two complete root systems on two plants that will get potted up. Now, once I get these guys in this whole tray here, there's 15 pots in this tray. Once I get these guys all potted up, by up potting them, I'm gonna go ahead and water them with rainwater, and that usually gives them a little boost as well. Then thereafter that, I like to water them with dechlorinated water. It really does make a difference. See this little guy right here? I don't know how well you can see that. Hopefully you guys can see that pretty well. Now I'm probably backlit a little bit, but this is the space I gotta deal with. Take out any of the large sticks that didn't get sifted out. There's a lot of organic matter in this. We use all of our kitchen scraps. We grind up our eggshells and put in here. And I actually might do a video on the eggshells because I don't just like throwing them into the compost heap. They don't break down properly. And I might actually go ahead and do a video on how to do that. So, this one hadn't fully emerged, but we're going to go ahead and plant it anyway. It'll continue to grow. And with these, just treat them carefully. Just treat it carefully. That root is real tender. It will grow towards the light. So it doesn't matter if you lay it sideways or if you lay it up and down. It's going to grow straight up. And you want these pressed down in here firmly, but you don't want to compact the soil too much because you still need drainage. If you compact it too much, the water will just sit on top and there's nowhere for it to go. It'll eventually seep through, but it takes a really long time. So just do it right the first time. You don't have to do it again. And like I said, this is real time. You're seeing how fast I'm doing this. Like I said, just treat these guys carefully. They're still kind of fragile at this stage. And like I said, with us right here, going ahead and up potting these, they've been shocked. So now's the ideal time to go ahead and get everything done you need to get done because they're already shocked. That's why we're going to go ahead and water them with rainwater instead of the chlorinated water they're used to. I looked online at the store, and the big box store is selling those name brand 4-inch potted plants for $8 a piece. I couldn't believe it. We sell our extras here on Ashmore Arboretum Homestead. Just family and friends, nothing, not a big production or anything, just our leftovers that we don't get planted. And we don't charge nearly half that. Just enough to kind of recoup our costs of getting these guys going and the grow lights and the pots and so on and so forth. Okay, there we are. That part is done. Now I'm gonna move these pots here. I got a bucket of rainwater. Now, I will tell you this again. I said this in one of my other videos. This is one of the only times I will water these guys from the top. You want to get that potting mix completely saturated this first go. This is potting mix that my son made me last year. I was out of commission last year, but potting mix my son made me last year, mixed up for me with our compost and vermiculite. And if you haven't watched how we make our potting mix, I suggest you go back in my videos and watch how it's done. It's a lot cheaper to make your own than to use that green and yellow bag from the big box store. My twin brother over at Nutty Gnome Homestead, he also has a video on how to make your own potting mix, and it's the same process. Okay, these are done. These guys are ready to go back under the grow lights. I'm going to get them labeled up, and we'll be right back. Okay, guys, it really is that simple to get your plants up potted. Now's the time to do it, and it's going to save you an awful lot of money. You can go and buy it at the store. This next variety is our beef steaks. And I got Cherokee Carbons down there on the end. I'm going to go ahead and get these guys up potted, and we'll have probably about 100 plants here. We usually plant about 30 of them, 30, 35, somewhere in that range. That seems to do all we need to do. I don't have a big operation as my brother does over at Nutty Gnome. He does about 150 plants, tomatoes, a year. I think he said he's got somewhere close to 400 or 500 tomatoes already up potted. So, guys, I'm going to stay out here. I'm going to finish this. Until next time, thanks for watching.